Which flavor of Black Midrange is best, Golgari or Rakdos? This question is something I was personally asking myself in multiple formats over the last year or so. I started out as a Golgari lover, just something about the disruption aspect with some of the graveyard synergies mixed in was just extremely appealing to my core as a Magic player. However, the Rakdos mage inside of me has won out the last few years in my competitive deck choices in both Pioneer and Modern, and I've shifted into love for red over the love for the green. What I look to cover in this video is the strengths and weaknesses of both of these color combinations and why I ended up leaning one way over the other to kind of add my take to the debate. To start with, both color combinations have access to the powerful black-based mechanics such as spot removal and hand disruption. We're no stranger to the power that black brings to any sort of decks that have black in it, so let's focus on the color combinations themselves and their strengths and weaknesses. Over the years, Golgari has established itself as a color that usually works alongside graveyard synergies and leans into the natural aesthetic of the green color, both in the decomposition of artifacts and enchantments and the creatures matter aspect of the color. Cards like Abrupt Decay come to mind as a card that matches the Golgari playstyle, as well as the powerful Deathrite Shaman. Newcomer Glissa Sunslayer embodies the Golgari midrange card in and of itself and shows off all aspects of the color combination strengths. Because of how naturalistic this card feels, Golgari is often at the whims of control decks and the top of their own decks. Now Rakdos, on the other hand, is a little bit more chaotic. Balancing destruction and damage on a nice edge, the color combination often sees its stronger threats come at a cost to their owner's safety in the form of life loss or discarding cards. Being hellbent is a big Rakdos mechanic, in fact that's where it started to begin with. While the color combination gets some extra direct damage and temporary advantages, it has black's weakness to enchantments alongside it. Blightning is a quintessential Rakdos spell, while cards like Fulminator Mage and more recently Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger, embody the power of the guild's colors. Now the big difference between these two comes in how the decks generate advantages, whether it be board state or cards in hand. Golgari is often starved for mechanics that straight up draw them cards unless they are attached to a creature's ability. Mosswood Dread Knight does this by splitting the color identity, where the adventure side is the black draw card lose life, and the green side is a powerful creature, especially for its mana curve, with the trample ability added onto it. While Elvish Visionary and Dusk Legion Zealot are similar effects of a single color that can be put into a Golgari deck together. Golgari often has to play to the board to generate advantages, and this is also true to their quote-unquote card advantage plays. You see cards like Court of Calling in Modern Yawgmoth or Collected Company in Pioneer to generate advantages with creatures at instant speed, but taking advantage of their enters the battlefield or other creatures enters the battlefield triggers off of them. Now in Rakdos, we've seen the popularity of the card selection mechanic rise up in red specifically over the last couple of years, which makes up for the inability to have actual card draw en masse in these color combinations. Fable of the Mirror Breaker is the big one in decks like Modern Scam, but even blood tokens, thanks to insane stat stakes like Bloodtithe Harvester and Pioneer Rakdos midrange, add to the ability for Rakdos decks to pitch the wrong cards for the chance to draw the right ones, with the ability to potentially get the ones they lost back later on with some reanimation effects from black. This means that you can pitch a creature to find a removal spell, or trade in your discard spells later game for powerful creatures to finish the game. This, in addition to Red's exile until next end step card advantage cards such as Unlucky Witness, give Rakdos the edge and advantage. The influx of treasure tokens to Magic has also given Rakdos access to something that was normally a Golgari mechanic, the ability to generate extra mana. Golgari still has access to green's fast mana, such as Llanowar Elves or Explore, but Rakdos now has access to Ragavan, Nimble Pilferer, and the Goblin token from Fable of the Mirror Breaker to give it extra mana it normally didn't have. Even spells like Deadly Dispute are seeing more play in Rakdos lists such as Pioneer Sacrifice, thanks to the existence of cards in Rakdos like Mayhem Devil. One of the key issues with more traditional mid-range decks in Magic has always been the fact that while they can pack answers to just about everything, they sometimes draw the wrong half of their deck and just fizzle out. The innovations to Rakdos, mostly the red parts of Rakdos, help dig deeper into their toolbox to find the right card, and it's what makes it, in my opinion, the superior choice in multiple formats. This doesn't mean the Golgari isn't a viable choice though, but it means that the decks in those colors need to leverage the tools Golgari has to do similar things. I think that modern Yawgmoth is the best example of this, matching a combo toolbox deck with Court of Calling and Yawgmoth himself to find the cards it needs to win. So, what do you think? Are you Team Golgari, or are you part of the Rakdos show? Let me know where you stand in the comments, and make sure to tap that subscribe button for more Magic content. See you later.